Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today will be the final episode of What If Naruto Got a New Bloodline. Go ahead and comment down below and tell me what you think of this episode. Thank you guys for enjoying and watching the episode. You guys really supported this one a lot, but unfortunately now is the end. So, I just posted a new episode of Uchiha Naruto the Sage, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And over on my main channel, I'm gonna be posting What If Tsunade was Naruto's mother, and also What If Kurama gave Naruto a dojutsu. So switch across the Anime King and enjoy all the lovely what ifs coming your way. And also, remember, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join the Anime King family and be a part of the channel. And thank you all for your support and help. And also, comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. So, the last time we left off, Naruto went to the village where the zombies were attacking him, Team 7 along with Team 10, as Orochimaru was sending out all of his zombies to destroy the smaller village so they could gather more forces, because each person they bite, they turn into a zombie under Orochimaru's control. So the last part we left off was when Naruto summoned his clones and he secured the village as Team 10 along with Ino and Choji and Shikamaru went out to scout and see if they can find any of the creatures on the border, as they then came back to inform Team 7 that the creatures are just out there doing nothing, as they didn't even seem like they have much sense, as someone is pulling the string, the real mastermind. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the playlist and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. So enjoy the video. So we start this episode with Orochimaru. Both him and Kabuto arrive at the Rain Village. Orochimaru places a tag on both him and Kabuto, as he then runs through hand signs. As he slams his hand on his tag, he then slams his hand on Kabuto's tag, as the both of them felt a cinch of pain. As they then enter the Rain Village, those tags were burnt into their skin so they wouldn't be detected by the leader, Pain, who was using the rain to find people who enter his village. Orochimaru and Kabuto then went through the village unannounced or unseen, as they finally arrived at the tower. As Orochimaru smiled, he then ran through hand sign as he transformed his body into a snake, as he nodded to Kabuto, who ran off. Orochimaru in his snake form then went up to the tower as he merged with it and went inside like he was phasing right through the tower. He then arrived inside as he started slither around unannounced. Meanwhile, Pain was currently looking down at the village, as Konan was currently lying in a bed. As she recovered from all of her injuries, she was in a separate room in the tower, but she was now resting as Orochimaru started slithering around the place. As no one saw him, Orochimaru then slithered onto the door as he saw Konan, as a smile came on his face, as he then transformed back into human, as his presence was being hid, so Konan in her sleeping form cannot sense him. Orochimaru then ran through hand sign as his hand started to glow. He rushed over to Konan and slammed it down on her stomach. As quickly, Konan woke up out of her sleep as she was ready to go into battle stance, but she realized that she was paralyzed. As she looked at Orochimaru, her eyes could move, but her entire body was frozen. "What is going on?" she said in her head. "Orochimaru," she cursed, but she couldn't say a word out loud. Orochimaru then ran through hand sign as he did a re-summon and summoned about 10 of the zombies. As Orochimaru nodded, the zombies then rushed to Konan as they started to bite her. After a while, they separated, as Orochimaru then goes through hand sign and placed his hand back on Konan, as she slowly got off the bed, now in zombie form, as a smile came on Orochimaru's face. "Now, to find out everything," said Orochimaru, as he went through hand sign again and placed his hand on Conan's head as Orochimaru was going through her memory and everything. Orochimaru then smiled. "Well, this is interesting," he thought. As Orochimaru smiled as he exited the room, he then ran through hand sign again as he did another re-summoning. This time he summoned 1,000 of the zombie, as he told them all to spread out and cause much destruction in the village, with a big smile on his face, as the zombies just ran off in a psychopathic mode. As Orochimaru then started to make his way through the tower, Pain was still looking down at the village. Seeing that Orochimaru placed a ceiling on himself so he couldn't be sensed, and the zombies couldn't be sensed either because of black blood, it was a negative thing to chakra, so Pain couldn't sense them no matter what. Pain then saw an explosion as he looked out at his village. What is going on, he wondered. As he never went down by himself, he always sent Conan to be the messenger, but since she's sleeping, it's time for him to go in action. As he then jumped off the tower and head down to investigate what was going on. Back with Orochimaru, he slowly made his way through the tower as he then came up on a room as he smiled. He then closed his eyes as he made a psychic link to Kabuto. "Kabuto, come here now," said Orochimaru. Orochimaru then quickly released a tag on himself, making Kabuto able to sense him. As Kabuto rushed to his master, Orochimaru kicked the door down as he saw Nagato inside of the machine. Nagato quickly launched a rod at him as it pierced right through Orochimaru, but he quickly jumped out of his own mouth. As he launched at Nagato, Nagato was about to pull his hand out of the contraption to use the almighty push, but he was too slow. As Orochimaru opened his mouth and two swords fly out and pierce through Nagato's hand, embedded them into the machine. As Orochimaru then smirked as he regurgitated a sword, as Nagato quickly called back Tendo Pain, but Orochimaru quickly grabbed him and flinged him out of the machine. As he dropped on the ground, he was crippled, so he was unable to move, and his hands were badly damaged, making him unable to use his power. Orochimaru then smiled. "How did you find me?" Nagato asked. "Well, from that darling girl of yours. What was her name again?" "Conan." "What did you do to her?" "Don't worry, she's now one of my loyal subjects, as you're going to be." Kabuto then entered the room as Orochimaru went through another set of hand signs as he re-summoned one zombie. "Get him," said Orochimaru, as the zombie then went over to Pain and sank his teeth into him. As Orochimaru smiled, as the black blood started to infest Pain's body, as he started to fight it but he couldn't, as his Rinnegan turned into pure black. His legs, blood started to creep up on it and veins started to came in it, as he slowly stood to his feet. "Now that you're under my control, I will take you and destroy Konoha, and then I will rule each nations. I will take down each nation, and this world will call me the immortal god," Orochimaru said that chuckle, as Kabuto chuckled as well. "So Lord Orochimaru, is it time?" "Yes, it's time." "Just a couple more hours," said Orochimaru. A couple hours later, Naruto and his team were still on the mission. As yet, the Black Bloods hasn't come. As the mission was getting really boring, as Naruto was sitting alone in the tent. He was looking up at the sky as he was thinking about the girls, wondering what they're up to now. He then heard Sakura call him as he came out. "What is it, Sakura?" Naruto asked. "Well, there have been no other sighting of the creatures that we face," said Sakura. "Oh, so you think they went away?" Naruto asked. "We've been here for a long time now." "I don't know, but Team 10 searched the entire area and there is no other sighting." Back at Konoha, everyone was walking through the village peacefully and calmly. At the main gate, Orochimaru and Kabuto was currently walking to the main gate as Izumo and Katetsu saw them. They both got on guard quickly. "Kabuto, Deal with them, said Orochimaru. With pleasure, said Kabuto. As his chakra scalp was activated, he rushed towards Katetsu and Izumo, and they weren't enough, as he cut the both of them down. As Orochimaru then entered the village, immediately, the barrier corps sensed it, as they quickly rushed towards the Hokage to give her the report, but it was too late, as Orochimaru was already in the village. Orochimaru smiled, as everyone saw him and started to move away from him, as they realized who he was. Finally, back here. Now time to wipe it out, Orochimaru said, as he quickly ran through hand sign and slammed his hand on the ground. There was a huge puff, and then thousands upon thousands black blood appeared, as Orochimaru summoned a couple of black blood, and they stood beside him. They were wearing coats, so you couldn't see them. As Orochimaru and those black blood headed towards the Hokage's tower, suddenly, in Tsunade's office, the messenger burst in, as Tsunade heard a huge explosion as he turned to see the village under attack. Lord Hokage, the village is under attack! As Tsunade turned and looked at the village. What is going on? It's Orochimaru, man said, as Tsunade gritted her teeth and clenched her fists. Damn it, she said. Anvu, said Tsunade, and in a second, 5 Anvu surrounded her. Yes, Hokage, the Anvu said. Quickly, go and get all of the Jonins and the Chunins, and fight to protect this village. And you, she said, looking at the purple hair Anvu. He's in the small town in the fire country. Get him back here quickly, Tsunade said, as she bited her nail, as the Anvu then quickly spread out. As Naruto and his group wasn't so far away from the village, so in about a good 30 minutes the Anvu arrived. As the Anvu quickly found Naruto along with Shikamaru's group. An Anvu, said Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, Team 10 and Team 7. Your assistants are needed back in the village quickly. What? Said Naruto. The village is under attack. Naruto didn't want to hear anything else, as he quickly rushed off with top speed. Back at the village, Kakashi didn't went along with Team 7, so he was still back at the village. As the village was being tore through, even though the Black Bloods are easy to kill, they are not that hard because they don't possess chakra, but they keep on biting the civilians, and then the civilians went on the Black Blood side. So the Shinobis have to ended up killing most of the Black Bloods who were civilians, as they were coming at them with a bite, and one bite can turn. As both Guy and Lee were facing off against the Black Bloods, hitting them with some mighty blow, Orochimaru was currently rushing towards Tsunade, as the Anvu stayed behind to protect Tsunade for anything, as Tsunade was on top of her tower, as Orochimaru activated chakra on his feet, as he then quickly walked up the tower, and so did those that were following him in the black cape, as Kabuto was beside him as well. Ah, Princess Tsunade, so you have come to greet me. Damn snake, said Tsunade. What are you doing? Oh well, it's finally time for me to take over this whole place. What do you mean? Tsunade asked. Well, Tsunade, this world will soon know me as the immortal god who rules everything. Orochimaru said that small chuckle. And you think that I'm going to let you? As Tsunade rushed forward as she clapped back her fist, but one of the cloak man came in front of her as he raised his hand, and Tsunade was sent flying back, but she flipped in the air as she landed on the ground. What was that? Thought Tsunade, as the Anvu then quickly jumped in front of her to protect her. As Tsunade looked as the man tore off his cloak, as the man was Nagato, but Tsunade didn't know him. Well, Tsunade, this is one of my best Black Bloods creature. I didn't waste my time giving those other Black Bloods any meaning of chakra because their body couldn't handle it. But this one and these others, he said, looking at the one with the capes, they will take down everything at my side. And don't think that there is any talking to me. You know all my humanity and everything has already gone for this place. I have no mercy left to give, said Orochimaru with a big smile on his face. I would never try to talk you down. I know that you're just a damn weaseling snake, and you do what you want. But, as Hokage, I won't allow you to take this village, Tsunade said as she slammed her fist into the wall, as the wall propellers came breaking down, as she grabbed one of the falling debris and threw it at Orochimaru, as another black blood got in front of Orochimaru, as papers appeared and sliced up the stone like it was nothing, as the papers were coded in blue chakra, as Tsunade gritted her fists. Naruto, Jiraiya, where are you? She said. While this was happening, Jiraiya was currently on one of his spy network, so he was nowhere near the village or had any idea what was going on, as he was currently talking through some investigation, as someone burst through the door. Megumin, what is it? Jiraiya asked. Konoha is under attack, said Megumin. What? Jiraiya didn't want to hear anything else, as he quickly got up and headed towards Konoha, as Megumin followed behind him. Megumin, give me the information on the way. Yes sir, said Megumin as she headed behind Jiraiya. After a good while, Naruto and his group finally arrived back at the village, as the first thing they saw was a dead Kotetsu and Izumo at the gates, as Naruto clenched his fists. As he started to walk in, as Naruto looked around. What is this? Naruto said, as he's looking at the dead body of the civilians, who has turned into black blood. As Naruto was pissed, suddenly he felt two chakra signatures, as he quickly rushed towards them. As he arrived, he saw Hinata and Haku facing off against two black blood, as Naruto extended chains from his back. The chains wrapped around the black blood and squeezed them, ripping them to threads. As Naruto was pissed, his eyes were red and slitted, as he was boiling with rage at what happened to his village, as both Haku and Hinata ran up to him, as Hanabi also was there, as she came into the mix. Naruto, you're back, said Haku. What is going on? Orochimaru attacked the village, said Hinata, and he's turning everyone into these creatures. Are you guys alright? Naruto asked him. Yeah, we're fine, said Haku. As Naruto looked around, where is Amy? Where is Amy? He asked. I don't know, she's probably at the ramen shack. I have to make sure she's okay, said Naruto as he headed off with top speed, as the others followed behind him. As it took a couple of minutes for Naruto to get there, when he arrived, he came upon the ramen shack, as blood was splattered everywhere, as Naruto was fearing the worst, as he quickly walked and came to the front, as he saw Amy slamming down on something. Amy, I am so glad that you're... As Naruto stopped in his tracks, as he saw what Amy was slamming down. It was her father's head on the table. As Naruto saw her vicious eyes, black froth was coming out of her mouth, as she then jumped at Naruto, as he couldn't move. He couldn't kill her. He couldn't find it in himself to do anything. Haku quickly came in front of him, as she created the ice spear, and with one quick movement, she slashed Amy's throat. As Amy's body fell to the ground, as Ino started to cry, as Sakura clenched her fists, as Hinata's eyes were swelling up with tears, the rest of the team headed their way to help out in the village, as they were the only one there. As Naruto, his body was unresponsive, as he then spoke. Orochimaru, he said, as Haku looked at his face, as she then stepped back because he had a sick grin on his face, as he then looked over to the Hokage's tower. Found you. He then disappeared in a blinding speed, shocking all of them, as no one knew where he went. He just disappeared. As Haku just looked down at Amy's body, as she didn't want to kill Amy, but she had to because Naruto couldn't find it in his heart to kill Amy. And these monsters, once they change, they cannot be changed back because all of the research that Sakura has been doing about black blood. Naruto was quickly jumping from building tops to building tops, as red chakra was already forming around him. On the Hokage's tower, the Anbu and Tsunade were panting as they were facing off against Nagato. But because Orochimaru turned him into black blood, he was not at his full power. He couldn't do everything at his full power. He couldn't use the almighty push to wipe out the entire village. He couldn't. That amount of chakra he couldn't use. As the other one that was there was Kisame. As Kisame could only use normal water type jutsus, he couldn't use Samehata or summon any of his shards. So Konan, Kisame and Nagato. As Orochimaru was still laughing, as suddenly he felt something coming towards him, as he quickly jumped out of the way, as the entire left side of the building was teared off. As Orochimaru then looked in the smoke, as he saw the red eyes, as Naruto was already in the Tuk-Tuk form. Naruto, said Tsunade as she looked at him. As Naruto didn't respond, it focused on Orochimaru, as chains then came out of his back as they rushed towards Orochimaru, but Nagato got in front of him. Almighty push, said Nagato, as he blew back the chains. Kisame then jumped towards Naruto as he was coming down hard, going through hand sign, as he fired water bullets at Naruto. Naruto fired his chain as the chain cancelled out the water bullets. He then fired his chain around Kisame as Kisame tried to jump up, but the chain grabbed his leg and slammed him down into the ground hard. As Naruto started to shake as he jumped off of the debris that he was on, destroying it in the process. As he brought out his claw, with one slash, he tear right through Kisame's face. As Kisame went down to the ground, as he hit hard. Konan then came up on him as she quickly fired her papers towards him. But before they made contact, as they came in contact with the red chakra, they burned and disappeared. As Naruto moved at an incredible speed, as he was now in the three-tail cloak, as he extended his chains, as they pierced in the ground, as he used them to pull himself quicker down to the floor, as he then extended one to Konan, who quickly dodged it as he flied up. Right now, Naruto was under so much power of the Kyuubi, but he still had a mindset, as Naruto then created chakra wings, as he flies straight up into the air, as he started to take battle with Konan in the air. As Nagato was still protecting Orochimaru, Kabuto has gone in the village to make sure that everything is going towards plan. As Orochimaru cursed when he saw Naruto getting the one up on Konan, as Naruto got a foot up as he then tear right through Konan. Because she's a black blood, she couldn't use type of jutsu like to reform her body out of paper. Naruto then turned his sight on Orochimaru as in an explosion surrounding Naruto, as red chakra swirled around him. When the red chakra faded, four tails emerged as his skin already tear off. As he looked at Orochimaru, he then let out a roar that sent out a boom wave that destroyed all of the tower, as Tsunade and the Anbu had to jump away. As most people right now, some of the civilians got out of Konoha as they started to just run, as the zombies were running after them. A man, he was running through the woods as he was currently in the fire country now, as a black blood was running behind him. This black blood wasn't so fast as a ninja, seeing it was merely just a normal black blood. As the man was running scared for his life, as he hasn't seen no one yet, as he was screaming running on the road, but suddenly the black blood stopped as he turned around to see that it wasn't there. Four people then landed around him. As the man looked up, "Thank you for saving me." Where did these things come from? One of the strangers asked. "They're at Konoha destroying the village, with Orochimaru's invading the village." "Well, this guy just told us everything. He doesn't even know if we're enemies," said Sugetsu. As Sasuke was the one who asked the question. "Who is at the village?" Sasuke asked. "Orochimaru." "Orochimaru's alive," said Sasuke. "Let's go," Sasuke said, as he quickly head off with his team back to Konoha. Meanwhile, Naruto finished with Konan as he was now in four-tail form, as he was quickly building a Biju bomb, as Orochimaru wouldn't allow him to do that as he sent Pain after him. Pain released an almighty push, sending Naruto flying back as the Biju bomb exploded. But the fox flipped back as he landed down quickly. He then started to fire a small projectile off the Biju bomb, smaller ones just beams. But Pain was using the almighty push and blocking everything. It was an invisible force in front of him. The fox started to get pissed as he started to transform even more, as he went straight into Six Tails. He went straight into Six Tails and he disappeared with a blur, as he appeared on Pain in an incredible speed. So fast, said Orochimaru. But Pain held out his hand, almighty push, as he sent the fox flying. His hand then changed into a rocket beam as he pointed at the fox, and a beam started to build as the beam then fired, hitting the fox, sending him straight down into the ground with a huge explosion. After a while, Orochimaru smirked, thought that would end the fox. But when the smoke cleared, the nine-tail was already going through the Biju bomb as he bite down on it, swallowed it. As Orochimaru quickly jumped off the roof as he released the beam. Pain used his almighty push to reflect the attack, but the beam dig right through the ground underneath him, causing him to lose his foot. As Orochimaru quickly called one of the other Black Bloods that were nearby, as it jumped and pushed Pain out of the way, and the attack disintegrated him to nothing. As Pain then took this as his opportunity and slammed both of his hands together as he released a small black ball and raised it in the air. As Orochimaru quickly jumped back, as the ground beneath Naruto started to break apart, as it then grabbed him and started to pull him, he started to fire a small Biju bomb at the center, but it wasn't exploding, as this Pain was not full power, so the planetary devastation would be much smaller, but it still swallowed up the fox. Meanwhile, Naruto was in his mindscape. What should I do? Naruto said. She's dead. All because I wasn't at the village. Destroy everything, said Kurama. What? Destroy everything. All of this brought you so much pain and suffering. Do you want me to make it all go away? Yes, said Naruto. Now, get up and rip off this cursed seal, and I will make you feel a lot better, Kurama said. As Naruto got up, and he slowly started to walk toward the seal. Meanwhile, outside, 8 Tails emerged from the planetary devastation as he started to rain fire down, as he was destroying everything. As Yamato was currently outside of the village, so there was no subduing the 8 Tails. As Yamato looked down in his palm, he was a distance away from the village. What? 8? I have to go, he said, as both Anko and him and 2 other Anbos were there. What? Said Anko, as Yamato rushed off at top speed. What could have happened? 8 Tails. Why? Back in Naruto's mindscape, before he could rip off the tag, Minato arrived. And this is going to be just like canon, so I'm going to skip out all these talking. So Minato would fix Naruto's seal and told him that things can be rebuilt, and he just needs time, as Naruto told him about Amy. As Naruto then felt confident than ever, but his heart was still paining him after what happened to Amy. The big fox then disappeared, as Naruto was currently looking down, as 2 chains spurted from his back. He then jumped off of the rock as the rock formation started to fall. He then grabbed one of the debris with the chain and threw it down to Nagato, who pushed it away, as Naruto grabbed one of the larger one and threw it to Nagato, who then pushed it away as it exploded, as Naruto used it as his distraction, as he let his chain fire straight into the ground, as Nagato turned to look at the chain. as Naruto used a chain to pull his body straight down to the ground, a Rasengan forming in his hand, as he then arrived on site and slammed it right into Nagato's face, killing Nagato on the spot as Orochimaru cursed. As Orochimaru looked at Naruto, "Damn you," he said, but he still had a small chuckle on his face. "It doesn't matter if you destroy these ones, I still have my creatures all around your village. Your village is total, just look around," he said. "Things can get rebuilt," said Naruto. "But now, Orochimaru, you're mine." Suddenly, Naruto felt someone coming as Sasuke landed right beside him. "Sasuke?" said Naruto. "What are you doing here?" "Naruto, even though we're not on good terms now, that doesn't matter. I am here to kill him." "Oh my boy Sasuke," said Orochimaru with a chuckle. "You really have that vendetta for me, am I right? Because I killed Itachi, is that the reason?" Sasuke just pulled out his sword, as then Shigetsu, Jugo and Karin surrounded Orochimaru. "So, you turn all of my subject against me, but it doesn't matter now. All of you will still fail," said Orochimaru as he snapped his fingers, and all of the remaining Black Bloods headed this way. "Jugo, Shigetsu, Karin, handle that, I will take care of Orochimaru," said Sasuke as he rushed at Orochimaru, who regurgitated that sword, as Naruto then rushed at Orochimaru as well. "Sasuke, for right now, we will work together," as the both of them start to fight Orochimaru in hand-to-hand combat, as the both of them were jumping around the village with Orochimaru, as they were throwing out attacks. Orochimaru using his shadow snakes, Naruto using his chains, with Sasuke using his lightning. Across the village, Kakashi just pulled back his hand out of Kabuto's chest, as Kabuto's dead body dropped to the ground. "Now you're done," said Kakashi, as he headed out to fight other Black Bloods. As Orochimaru could feel his personal lucky chakra just vanished. "So Kabuto, you're dead," said Orochimaru, as both Naruto and Sasuke saw that he got distracted for a slight second, as the both of them nodded at each other. It looks like they were reading each other's mind, as Naruto then quickly formed a Rasengan Shuriken, even though Tsunade told him not to use it. This was a life and death situation, as Sasuke run through handstand and lightning cackled off of him as the lightning rushed towards Orochimaru. Orochimaru jumped in the air as Naruto went after him with the Rasengan Shuriken, as suddenly ice pierced out of the ground as it trapped Orochimaru's feet, as Haku was there as well. "Now do it, Naruto," Haku said. Naruto uses one free hand as he then created a clone, as a clone appeared beside him and grabbed onto him and spin him in mid-air and throw him to Orochimaru at top speed, as Naruto went in front of Orochimaru, who was about to open his mouth to flee from the ice, as Naruto was coming too fast. "You're not going anywhere," said Naruto, as he slammed the Rasengan Shuriken right into Orochimaru's mouth, as he quickly fell back as the Rasengan Shuriken started to tear all through Orochimaru's body, as he started to rip him up to pieces, as Naruto dropped to the ground, as he was exhausted after that fight, and he just used the fox, so he was really exhausted. He then fell to the ground, as Orochimaru's entire body got disintegrated. No snakes, nothing survived, showing that he is dead. As Sasuke was also tired, because the battle between him and Orochimaru and Naruto was long, as Naruto then looked at Sasuke. "So Sasuke, what now?" Naruto asked. "I have no more reasons, no more purpose. I already destroyed all of the sound bases I know of, and Itachi is already dead. I don't know what to do," Sasuke said. As Naruto looked at him, "Why not come back home? After what I did?" "It doesn't matter, Sasuke. You can still come back home," said Naruto. "Be a part of a leaf again." As Sasuke chuckled to himself. "What's with the laughing?" Naruto asked. "Well, Look at the state of the village. Don't worry, we will rebuild and fix it back. Time skip right here. 5 years later, currently, Naruto was married to Shizuka, as it didn't matter if he was in the CRA, as Naruto buy a huge house. As Naruto was walking home with Shizuka, as he then went up to the door, he opened his door and went in. As he came to the smiling face of Haku, Hinata and Ino, as he said hello to all of them, as he then walked up to Hinata. "And how is my boy doing today?" Hinata asked. As he then kneeled down, as Hinata was pregnant. "He's doing just fine," Hinata said, as she rubbed her belly, as Naruto put his ears on her belly, as he then got up and gave her a kiss. As the village was rebuilt by now, as the Akatsuki is finished, Tobi is also dead, so the only thing they will have to worry about is other nations. But Konoha hasn't been attacked again, as Zetsu was still buying his time, so he can wait for another future so he can use another person to bring back Mother, because he was immortal, so he could wait as long as he wanted. But guys, this is the end of the story. Comment down below and tell me what you think of it, if you enjoy this story, and if you do. Thank you for enjoying the story and watching. And this is the last time you will hear me say, what if Naruto got a new bloodline? So bye guys, and also stay in tune for what if Tsunade was Naruto's mother, and what if Kurama gave Naruto a dojutsu. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.